Everybody, good evening. Everyone watching us from the Pan African Daily TV. We are live today on a special topic with His Royal Highness King Denis Okafor from Ghana Central Region in this community called the Ohanes. I mean, we're going to hear a lot about this information, what the kingdom is all about, what their projects are all about. So I want to thank all of you for joining the stream. If you're watching from our YouTube channel or from our Facebook platforms, please make sure you click the link and share and invite one another to join us on this stream. I hope all of us are doing well out there. Um, Down here in the West, it's not really business as usual, as we said yesterday. The lockdown is still very, very serious out here. I also think out there in Ghana and some part of Africa, but most part of Africa is already very, very open and business is going on as usual. So if you are in your community and you have an update about the situation out there, please make sure you drop us any breaking around your community on our WhatsApp number. So first, I want to thank those who joined the show yesterday with evidence and Honorable Kapamba. And this topic yesterday actually opened up a lot of access to information and to contacts, and young people on the continent and in the diaspora reached us yesterday, actually, giving us a positive feedback. I got more than 10 positive feedbacks of Africans who said they were already on the way to cross over to the Mediterranean, but because of the show of yesterday, they changed their minds. I mean, this is a wonderful update that we're bringing to you. And I just asked them to do a recording, right? A voice recording. It's not like we're making up stories, but these are the feedbacks that we get from the continent. And particularly those that were already on their way, to leave or to migrate to Europe, going through this very channel that lost a lot of lives there. So we're so thankful and we're grateful today to share this positive feedback with you. Yes, and the conversation with evidence and Kapanga actually woke up also a lot of young people to understand why they need to leave the continent. And some already also confirmed to us that the calls from the incoming calls from the diaspora telling them to stay back on the continent actually motivated and inspired them. And now they know that the diaspora has them at heart and that we understand their plight on the continent and they are ready to stay and wait. So all this positive feedback from the Pan African Daily TV, particularly on this show of yesterday, is really warm. It's heartwarming to us to see that our work is not just that we sit here and broadcast and bring out news, but of course that the information and the education and the awareness and the sensitization campaigns that our guests bring here to share and to educate us is actually falling on the right ears. The young people are taking all these conversations very, very seriously. They are learning from it. They are picking up from it. They are connecting and asking even more information. And guess what? A lot are actually joining our campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers, and they are subscribing and creating their groups. So please, I just want to give you this positive feedback to all our viewers and all our watchers all over the world, those that are commenting and sharing our flyers, our posters, our conversations. You are doing an incredible job. And this is just a take for you to understand that our work is making its way in the right direction, that we are actually seeking these solutions and the solutions are falling on the right ears. So we're going to go back to studio and, heartily welcome our honorable guest, who is also a Royal Highness and a pioneer chief, in the community out there. We want to share his perspective, focusing on his region, his experience with the as president of the United Nations in that community, his engagement, and we just want to have a little bit of an insight. I want to say it very clearly. He is not here to represent the United Nations in any way. He is just giving us his own experience from his own perspective for us to understand understand how he understand the organization, taking into consideration, the impact of the region where he is and his citizens and his community is, and whatever they've been doing together in that kind of a relationship. So back to studio to you, His Royal Highness. Welcome to the show. Good evening.
Good evening, my sister. How are you?
I am doing very fine, my king. It's a wonderful pleasure to host you on the Pan African Daily TV. And I want to thank you so very much in your community for supporting your work. A lot of feedback has been coming us and reaching us that, oh, they're so happy that we're giving this a space on the Pan African Daily TV for their king to share their stories and in this community. Can you just, in a little way, explain or introduce yourself, which community you come from, which region on the continent, and your whole engagement in your community?
Yeah. Thank you very much. My name is His Royal Majesty King Denis Okafor, the King of Ezigbo Ohaneze, Central Region, Ghana, and also the President General of UNO. I'm from Central Region, Ghana, and also I'm the King of Igbos generally in Central Region, which is
Ah,
Ohaneze Ndigbo, Central Region.
okay.
I'm the king. So,
Yeah, because when I saw your name, His Royal Highness, when I saw Okafor, I was like, this sounds more like Igbo, or is the central region sharing borders with the Igbo land, or are you original, let's just say, born and raised in the community, or an indigene, or a descendant? How? What is the connection?
I'm originated from Igbo land in a state called Enugu State, where the Ohanese and Igbo originated. And our forefathers came to settle in Ghana. Some settled in Central Region, some settled in Greater Accra Region, some settled in Western Region. But my own come to settle in Central Region, which is Cape Coast. That is why I'm bearing the name of my grandfather, Okafor, who came all the way from Igbo land 1957 to settle in Ghana, Central Region. So I'm representing the Igbo community, Ohanese and Igbo, in Central Region as their king.
Oh, this is very interesting because in the recent past we've been hearing about this conflict, the Nigerians or not really the Igbo, the Nigerians and the Ghanaians, particularly over the issue of Twitter as it came. But of course, you're saying that they're originals and that settlers from the Igbo land, which came to settle in Ghana. Tell us more.
Yeah, during the Nigeria Civil War, which was 1966, 67, 70s, a lot of Nigerians escaped or ran away because of the war.
Ah,
Some of the West African countries, some and they have intermarriage relationship with Ghanaians and other.
uh, this is another. This is going to be another incident tonight, and we already see the challenges coming out from the West region, Ghana, where the connection has been so poor ever since this afternoon when we were connecting and trying, to set up the stream. Normally, His Majesty had planned to come on the show with a team of three, four of his ambassadors and collaborators, and even some very relevant speakers and coordinators who happen to have been also African American descendants and that are settled in this kingdom. but because of the poor network, we've been struggling for the past 3 hours, and it could not get connected. So we were so happy that, we could even have him on the show, and that he should be alone in order to guarantee the network challenges that they're having there. Remember, this is a very small community. As they explained to us, even the electricity and the connection out there is very, very poor. And so sometimes they really have the challenge of, like every other part, remote areas on the continent. So it is really tragic, because he traveled even out of his community, and to actually be with us today, because there's some very, very pertinent information that he wanted to share with us, particularly concerning this United Nations African relationship, because he's been, active on that board of the United Nations, and projects that they've been doing for their community. And he's so damn disappointed. He's very disappointed about this relationship, and he wanted to actually share his perspective on this United Nations African relationship from a king's perspective, in a smaller setup that you can imagine a bigger picture. Yeah, but because of this communication and this program, now we even had a feedback. Yeah, we had a feedback today of special envoys from the United Nations Human Rights Committee, from the United Nations United Security Council, and a lot of them. And even there was one powerful woman, as I know, powerful, sitting on the board, and apparently she is in charge of the United Nations Women's Chapter, global chapter, and she's just looking forward to share this platform with us. I'm happy because she is an African born in the Americas, and she wanted to actually give us more perspective on this topic, particularly, sitting on that house. So the king was here to share his own perspective from the communal level in a community project set up. But then the real speakers and these voices that I'm talking about, now they start relocating us, because we are, we want to get more information on this topic. But you guess what? It is not like they want to come and tell us what we don't know. Is there anything that we don't know? What did they have to tell us about, the conflicts and the wars and our people dying in the Mediterranean? And never have they addressed these problems. I mean, we also have even the local migration politics on the continent, like the king was telling us. I mean, Nigerians have relocated since from the 60s, and we all know that, right? And so what is it that they even want to tell us? What we want to know is, what are they doing on the continent of Africa when it's not producing any results? Today we hear Chad is uprising. There are uprisings in Chad, in Cameroon, in Uganda. The human rights abuse were not addressed. And so what is it that actually they want to come and teach us? We are anxious, and we're ready actually to know from this mega institution that unites the world under its umbrella. We want to know, what benefits has this organization to Africa? What benefit? What has it served us? What is it that they would show us? Like, yes, we've been doing this since the time of independence. To you people, we've built, we've given you this and stuff like that. What is it? We want to hear about that. But today we begin to hear about the ICC. We begin to hear about, some kind of abuses. Every day they're killing a black man on the street in the Americas or in the Caribbean or in Europe or anywhere. We've never had this organization raise some alarms to say, no, we are working against these injustices that is plaguing, the community of the black race and the black Africans everywhere that they are, the Africans anyway. So we are anxious, but we are open. We're also open to, to inform ourselves. Are we just being that so narrow-minded? Are we being, is there lack of information? Is there something that, probably in the back doors, it's closed doors discussions that we don't know? So we are open, and we're happy to host them in their numbers, because it is time that we want to refurbish our relationships with all these organizations to actually get an overview of what they do. We're just educating ourselves, right? Yeah. So I don't know, is the chief connected? It is still very bad out there, because I see him struggling and texting something here. It's not working, right? Okay. This is bad. This is bad. But I think, just like any other issues that we've been facing here, we would definitely have to switch and improvise and take our conversation to another level if we're not able to get them here for whatever reason, like I said, it's been a challenge since the afternoons getting them on the show, and yeah, to actually carry on this important conversation. Anyway, like I was saying, what is it? What is it that the United Nations has to offer? Now, I will give you back this homework like educated us yesterday. We have to do our homework. And I already know that you watching and you joining this show tonight, you already had a lot of questions in your mind, or you've already done your homework and you were ready to actually, digest it or to share your opinion with us. If we're not going to have them finally as guests today, we're going to open up the lines and just share the conversations of the past, right? I mean, we had very important guests in the last past days. Of course, generally, all our guests are very exclusive and top and up to the point. We all know that, right? We don't go for the least. We go for the best minds. And on Saturday, the program on Saturday with Freedom actually is still cussing a lot of a lot of feedbacks and positive feedbacks in every way. It's just like the African child never dreamed that something would happen to him in this format. It's just like most of the Africans were just like, wow. So an African can also be a prince of a whole freedom system, liberating the African mind with such a powerful speech and inspiration. So an African prince can also be a multimillionaire and on the continent, born and raised. I mean, we're not talking about, all the we have a lot of them. Yeah. All right.
So
Are you connected now? Is everything
yeah,
okay?
yeah, everything is okay now. I've connected it.
Thank you so very much. I'm very grateful. I'm thankful to ancestors that they could bring you back here to us. Good. So go ahead. We were on
So
the topic of you introducing yourself, your community, and how the Igbos got to find themselves in Ghana. Are they truly Ghanaians or they still, living just like Igbos in Ghana?
uh, so that's what I'm saying. During this Civil War, 1967, you understand,
Yeah.
when the Igbos came down to Ghana to seek refugees due to the Civil War, the Biafra Nigeria War, and they got intermarriage with Ghanaians, and they give birth to some of us. You understand? And we established in Ghana. Already, Igbos are very highly industrious people. So we establish where we do our genuine business, and Ghanaians accommodate us well. Now, they form something like Ohanes Zendibo, which is the kingmakers. Ohanes are the kingmakers to elect to bring somebody who is going to be their head as their ruler. So, because we are not indigenous of Ghanaians, we don't own land in Ghana. Rather, we acquire land, but we are not landowners, but we acquire land. Those who have the money to acquire, they've given us the privilege and the power to acquire through the right channel. So, because of that, as the first Igbo man to come to Ghana, I've been to Ghana about 35 years in Ghana. So my people decided to appoint me to bring me out to be their king of Ohanese in the Igbo Ghana Central Region. But when it came to the king of Ohanese, we have 10 regions in Ghana. We have the Northern region, we have the Ashanti region, we have the Western region, we have the Greater Accra region, we have the Volta region, we have the Broahafu region. You have 10 regions that make up of Ghana. So each region have their leader over there, which was being appointed, not appointed, by merit to be an Igbo king, which is, you call it in Igbo, Ezdendi Igbo. I don't know whether Ezdendi Igbo, Central Region. That's why sometimes I see that I'm putting Ezdendi Igbo, Central Region. We still have Ezdendi Igbo, Greater Accra Region, Ezdendi Igbo, Ashanti Region, but we don't have like head of the head. One person claimed that he is the king of all those kings. No, only we have by religion, by religion, by religion, by religion, because we are not, we fall under the Salikis, which is the Hausanas. They call us the aliens. So we fall under the Salikis. So we are under the Saliki. They call them the Saliki Zongo with them, because we are all the Tamos. We are all foreigners who came 1960, 1957 to settle. We are not indigenous of the Ghana, but we came to settle. They've given us a place to settle our land and everything. So from there, we formed this organization to help our people, like a social cultural group, which help the Nigerians, especially the Nigerians, the Igbos, the Hausa, the Yorubas in Ghana. From the organization, we came again and formed something like all Nigeria community. All Nigeria community is comprises of the Hausa, Northern Hausa community. We call them the Alewa community, the Yoruba community, the Igbo community, the South community. So we came together as under one umbrella and formed all Nigeria community, which is called ANC, under the umbrella of our ambassador in Ghana, reporting to our ambassador. And we have the president of that organization called All Nigeria Community, which I happen to be the patron, because we form it to see to the welfare of all Nigeria in Ghana, wherever you are. Whatever happened to you, whatever problem you have, we come to your rescue and rescue you. That since we are in Ghana, Ghanaian government has been good to us. They protect us. They give us all the necessary life, the necessary freedom we want. They give us, like, we are like Ghanaians, we mingle with them, but we are law-abiding citizens. Ghanaians don't hate Nigeria, but they chase those that we call it the law chase Nigerians, not Ghanaians. Is the law. The Ghanaians government are very good to us, and also we are very good to them. But in some certain cases, there are some bad acts among the organizations which we are trying to fish out. If we started fishing out them out one by one, one by one, one by one, sending them back to home, giving them to the law enforcement agency to take care of them, because we don't want our name to be destroyed. That is one. Secondly, organization is like, we form it globally. It's worldwide. Any part of the world you enter, we have organization in UK, we have organization in India, we have organization in South Africa, we have organization in Nigeria, we have organization in Ghana, we have organization all over the world. Due to our social, cultural interrelationship with the whole world, we are business oriented. Igbos are highly industrious. Wherever they go, I can say that they are like the Jews. Wherever they go, within 1 year, 2 years, they will progress. And they try to bring their fellow brothers to join them. So because of that, you have to join the organization, because they help each other in terms of raising food, to give each other, for them to start something without going to do any day's work. Organization is good like that. That's where
Wow.
I can stop. If there's any other question.
I mean, yes, this I like this setup. Like, we talking too much about, the West, the Africa, but in this kind of a setup, it is not even what do I want to say? We don't focus on the regional integration among us as
Yes,
African nations. That we
yes,
live with our neighbors, we accommodate one another. Everything that is being said would only be spoken about in terms of the diaspora relocating to the continent. This interregional and international, migration from different locals to the other communities is still not a topic that we're talking about, because we know that the nations, we Africans are one. And Your Royal Highness, you agreed with me when we had this conversation. The nature of Pan-Africanism that we should harness. You are taking it from this case study of Ghana and your community worldwide that integrates in everywhere that they go. Their focus is just where they are, they get a safety, they engage, they start being industrious, they produce in that land, they just carry, like you said, like the Jews, or let's just say in a better in another format, you like the Chinese, right?
Yes.
On the
Yes.
continent, just settling everywhere, acquiring land, doing your business. Is that okay?
Yes, it's okay. Because you asked me about my name, the origin of my Okafor. That is why I gave you this history. But our topic
Correct.
of today is the UN impact in Africa. I think that is
Correct.
our topic today. But due to the question he asked me, that when you look at the Okafor, it seems like, that's why I brief you how the Okafor come into the Ghana as a king of Ohanes and Igbo Central Region.
Thank you very much. Yes, Your Highness. I mean, that history is very important to us because, like we say, the names, our names actually determine our origins and even our setup, of course. Yeah, we're going to go really into the topic proper for today. I mean, we were just
Yes.
having a small talk to get people connect and to settle down while we go into the topic today. Now, we want to understand your relationship or your perspective on the United Nations and the African relationship in terms of your high office and your engagement with them. What is it that you can tell us about this whole setup?
Yeah. The only thing I can say that the United Nations is not helping Africa in terms of water problem. It's not helping Africa because in Africa we don't have a good drinking water. I know that when you ask them, they say, "Oh, your government is not helping you." No, some of the water we drink in Africa, even over there, they can't use the water to flush their toilets. And water is life. So United Nations particularly is not helping Africa in terms of good drinking water. That's my topic today. It's not helping with the Africans. Because in Ghana where I am, we have something like Galamsey, which has destroyed almost 60% of our drinking water, which United Nations is aware that this is happening. It tells us we don't have good drinking water. United Nations is not helping Africa at all. How I wish there's a member of United Nations sitting down there, you understand, to ask me why. Because when you go to, like, especially the central region where I am, if I show you the kind of water some people are drinking, you'll be pity. Say, wow, this you can't use it to bath a dog. You can't use water to bath your dog in the house. But still, we took it here as our drinking water. That is why when you came to some regions in Ghana, we don't grow. I mean, we don't look fresh. We don't, because we don't drink good. We don't have good drinking water. Even the food we cook, we don't cook it with good drinking water. That is why every day we keep on having malaria, 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 malaria. So I'm appealing to United Nations, please and please, they should look to Africa, because Africa, sorry to say, 90% of our resources is being taken from Africa to those Western countries, Americans, China, Europe, British, like most of our African materials, our gold, which is the gold that is destroying our water, our manganese, our bauxite, our timber, even our cocoa is being taken from Ghana, Africa to the Western Union. Still, we don't see any benefit from United Nations. Rather, they concentrate on sorry to say, the Western Union, thinking that we are the less privileged human beings. No. It's about time United Nations look into Africa issue. I know that Africa, there's a lot of war, Congo, Sudan, other countries, even in Nigeria, the Boko Haram, see what they are doing, destroying the water. But you can't use because of that to abandon Africa. Africa is, we are God-gifted human beings in terms of resources. So United Nations is not helping us at all. At all. So when it came to water is man-made something and man destroy water, it's only human being that can put water in order. When you go to some part in the west, in the central, they don't have even good access road. I know it's not their duty, but that is where the materials, the timber, the cocoa, the coffee, the bauxite, the manganese, the gold are coming from. And all those things is going to the western states for them to develop their country. But we are being left over. So United Nations, to be frankly speaking, they are not helping us at all. They are helping us. They are not helping us.
I get the point,
So,
Your Royal Highness. So, what is the purpose? Why are you appealing to them?
I'm appealing to them because they have all the power, all it takes. Sometimes I ask myself, what is the meaning of United Nations? Please, what is the meaning of United Nations? I'm asking you, what is the meaning of United Nations? To unite all the nation, I think so.
Yes, I mean, like from a lay point of view.
To unite all the nation, bring them together, take care of their welfare, protect them in all angles. You understand? That's the meaning of United. They are not protecting Africa. They are not uniting Africa. They are not developing Africa. They only concentrate on the Western Union, whereby they are left in Africa alone. They are not developing Africa. They are not uniting Africa. I'm telling you. But we call ourselves United Nations. What are we uniting? What are we uniting? Are we uniting that during the war, they came and bring us food stuff, soap, mosquito nets, material? No, no, no. You have to unite us now that there's no war. Give us Africa good drinking water, good load, good facility, uh, good, uh, good hospital, good take care of our children. Look at our children. We call ourselves United Nations, uniting ourselves, but they are not helping Africa. United Nations is not helping Africa. So I'm appealing to them when they go to the 2021, 2022 summit. They should see to it that let's take Africa plurality, number one plurality. We are being left over, left behind. It's like we are not human beings. It's like we are not human beings. I'm saying the fact United Nations is not helping Africa in times of everything. Look at okay, come, let me say one thing. Look at the coronavirus, the COVID-19. There are many deadly diseases that is here before the COVID. The Boko Haram is more than the COVID in Nigeria, killing a lot of people in the northern part in Nigeria. The Congo civil war is more than the COVID, killing a lot of people, which United Nations is supposed to fight and see to the solution of it. Now COVID is killing us, but there are deadly arms being used by greedy politicians, killing the innocent people, which United Nations is aware that this is happening. Why can't they call them in order? Rather, some of the Western, use that opportunity to be extracting our raw materials, making money, because we Africans, they think we are food. We like war. So they capitalize on the war, utilizing our materials, enriching themselves, which United Nations is supposed to see to the stop of all this. They are not helping us. my sister. United Nations is helping us. Let's put water issue aside. Education, they are not helping us. When you school in Africa, after your education, they say that you know African doesn't have a good education. You want to get a job in UK, you have to start going back to school again. Why can't they start a good school in Africa? So that after finishing, after the year, you are 22 years in education, wherever you go, they can welcome you as their own system of, like, adopt you into their own system of education. You go there, start fresh, because what? They are not helping us. And they don't want to help us. They want us to remain slave to them, which is not good, which got to stop. It's about time Africans wake up from their slumber and wake up and stand with one voice and say, no, let's call a spade a spade. Let's fight for our rights. We have what it takes to develop our continent. We have coal in Enugu, which is being used in UK for their train and other things. We have timber in Liberia. We have rubber in everywhere. All these things is going to Western states without taking care of Africa. It's about time United Nations think twice. Say no. Let's listen to the cry of this Africa.
I understand your point as a leader of the community of the people in your region and trying to just, gather your people together, provide drinkable water for them. And most of these big organizations come and they flag you all as if they are donating or they are helping. You see, even from the point of your language, like they have to come and help us. We're already in that problematic part of thinking that they would always help us. But I'm happy the fact that you know that they can never help us. They never even had an agenda to help us, like you say. You recognize the fact that they want to keep us as permanent slaves. So it's not a question, but it's a point to think about. Is it necessary to even think that they need to help us or we have the power to develop ourselves? You talked about your community, the Igbo people, they're very creative, they're industrious, they do what they're doing. Even before the United Nations was formed, how were our ancestors, your ancestors, like the Royal Highness, how were we living? We had good water before they came start stealing all our minerals and transforming our water into what is poisonous today. Because they are the cause of that kind of water that we're drinking. We never had that kind of water. We had the best water, and even to today, we still have it, right? So, but when they come into your communities and they're like, oh, we give you small wells and we give you small monies and we can help you. And so we start being in that mentality as if they have the ones to help us, which is absolutely wrong. It's wrong. We are not begging. We're not calling on any United Nations to help us. We are telling them to leave our continent to us. We're going to develop it ourselves. The whole distraction of helping has never helped. You are acknowledging it yourself. So what is it that from your community and you are going to start educating, particularly the Igbo, as you say, they're the most industrious people. They call them the Chinese and the Africans because they create wealth, they create industries, they create, projects. So isn't it possible that instead of you, like a king sitting and asking the United Nations to come and do something for Africa or for your people, that you start educating your people and teaching them how our forefathers did it and how we ourselves can develop ourselves? What is your take on that?
Yeah, you are right. Because I could remember 1960, 61, 62. We don't have something of like pipe water, bomb pipe water, good water, but still we live with the one we have.
Correct.
But yeah, but during the 1980, 80, 70, 71, up to 80, when they invaded us, our mineral resources, finding gold, other minerals, bringing deadly chemical to mine all those gold, these mineral resources. That is whereby we start having a very deadly water. To my own opinion, I'm calling all the African leaders to come together. If they don't help us, let us help ourselves.
Exactly.
Yes, let us not be greedy. Let us not be political, greedy, consciousness. That is what is in Africa. When you get to the throne, you want to be there for 30 years. You want to be there for 20 years. You want to reserve gold for your great great grandchildren, which you don't know how are they going to live their life. It's not fair. We have what it takes to develop Africa, but we need intelligent people. Let me tell you, education is 1%. 99% is home training. If you don't have that home knowledge, no matter your level in education, you can't do anything. You just, But when you have that home knowledge trained, you can be able to do what will benefit Africa generation upon generation.
Mm.
Let us not rely. I'm just speaking to our African leaders. Let us not rely on United Nations that they must do everything to us. No, United Nations. Some of them are from somewhere. The UN is not their country or their nation. Some of them are from Ghana, Nigeria, Sudan, Egypt, Kenya, UK, China, Korea. They just come there as an appointee to form. So let us, Africa, come back home and reinstate our home. Put our home together. Get our boys. We have a competent boys, highly technical boys, men and women who can develop this country. If I'm to say, let's give even African leaders to women. You see, African country will rise more than other the countries.
Absolute.
I'm telling you, let's give the leaders to women. The country will rise. Look at Liberia during the time of after the war. Ellen Johnson took over Liberia. Look, go to Liberia now. They are talking about Liberia. Look at the countries women are being ruled. See how they are peaceful. Development is going on because they check what is called check and balances. They don't think about my generation, my generation. No, they think about children. They are women. They are mother. They think about us. They carry us along. We have all it takes to develop Africa. If they don't develop Africa for us, let's come back and develop our continent. We have
Absolute.
men, capable men. We have men, capable men. Somebody like
Ist nicht mehr da? Okay, guys. Oh, okay. It is going to be yeah, that kind of, I mean, I was already getting into the conversation. I don't know, the technique will not support this conversation tonight, but you can already see, you can already begin to feel, though the knowledge is there, the indigenous knowledge of a king is there, but look at the political and Western mindset that these kings in their local communities are carrying. Look at the narratives. And actually, I actually brought him as guest on the show because I wanted us to get a feel when we start talking about developing our Africa, particularly when we go into the indigenous setup. We know that our kings are the first people that we need to start holding these conversations with them, because exactly that's who we were. But if they already are on this mindset, that is somebody somewhere on the planet that is going to come to help them. I mean, I understand him from his point of view because he's not even talking about the West, to be honest with you. They are this actual Black Africans like you and me that are working for the United Nations, that are carrying up all these local community projects. Yeah. Yeah, and these projects are being, they bring them to the palace and to the king and to the communities. And you look at His Royal Highness sitting on a community of indigenous Igbos worldwide, even in the UK. But now, in order to penetrate this sector, so they would always come. But you can see that these kings are not just kings, they are not stupid. They are not just wearing the crown, they actually know what it is. But the narratives that they're using, the mindset that they're using. And imagine if you already have that mindset. Now, what would you even tell your community? You're going to tell your community, we have to raise our voices so that these people, and exactly that's the agenda they want, to see Africans distracted, sitting and being beggars and calling on them, please come and help us. That word help is not even existing in our vocabulary on the Pan-African Daily TV. We all know that, isn't it? So we have a lot of work to do in terms of education. We spoke about it yesterday. Evidence was very okay on the point, just like every other guest that we've been having here. The mind of the African, the mind. And he said it, he keeps repeating it yesterday. Our problem is the state of mind, the state of mind of just sitting and thinking, and all this, big united, and they position themselves the blue and white flag. And when there is something like in the war zones, you see them wear their caps and they roll in their Land Rovers, and they give the impression, we're doing some work. Of course, they're doing some work. We're not totally against, but we're talking about the benefit, like this local petty projects, water, drinkable water that flows from the mountain. Dig the well at every corner, you're going to get clean water. You need to purify it, of course. You need to just even boil it, right? We all grew up in the village, and rivers were flowing, streams. We went to the stream and we all drank this water. Yeah. And so, a king of a community in a noble country as Ghana, yeah, and they keep exploiting the community, taking away a diamond, a timber, and stuff like that, and promising things that will never happen, illusions. And he's saying, even water, we just want to take the case study of water. Even drinkable water is not available to these communities, after they rob and dig the minerals and leave us with nothing. What is your opinion about that? I'm not sure that we're going to get him connected again, because I see the stream is acting up from his own point. It is not possible that we're going to get him. So I'm going to open the lines, yeah, for any, I know there are people that were already anxious and calling into the show. So you can call now and give your comment or your suggestion as what is the way forward. Education, he was talking about. Now, we were still trying to warm up the conversation to ask, what kind of education are we talking about? Because I had some pertinent questions, I think even you, to say, like, do you really educate your community about their ancestry, about their culture, about their kingship, about where they originated from, about the power that they had to build these kingdoms? We're not sitting on the territory of the United Nations. We're sitting on the African continent. And the UK or the West is still holding some of these territories as trustees. But we can already see that the UK is backing up and like, oh no, we already gave your independence, so please deal with your peace. But then our royals would want to ask them for drinkable water. We have work to do. Just too much. It's too much work to do. Starting from our community setup, we know that we can do it. Like he was clear on the point. We can do it. We must do it. We shouldn't even say, or if they don't help us. Wow, I hate that word. When I hear the word, even between us saying helping us is already a problem for me. Talk less of, even looking for some other person that has zero interest about you to think that he can help you. No, Africans, wake up. The power, like Freedom was saying, like Professor James Moore, like Professor Pierre Olumumba, like Baina Bello professor, like all our professors is saying, we are who we are. We know who we are. We have the power to develop ourselves. What do you think about that? I was just sharing some beautiful feedbacks of our show of last week, yesterday on the feedback of young Africans that were already looking forward to cross over to Libya and take the road, this dangerous road, the deadly road, we're going to call it, to Europe, backing up. I can share some of the comments that we had here. It was so amazing to see young people in their numbers saying, I already was thinking to take this journey, to undertake this journey. But because of the conversation yesterday, I backed up. Mhm. Because of the conversation yesterday, I backed up. And today we are here on the same issue of state of mind. Is he connected? Can we get him? No. All right. So, like I said, with freedom, it was all about the empowerment of the African mind to know that you can do it, to know that we have all it takes. All we need to just do is to inform, educate ourselves, hold these conversations, give a feedback to our people. When we do that, we're good to go. We don't need any help. We don't need any organization. Let them do their business with their presidents and all their contract and partnerships. We are focused on the grassroots development of Africa, on the grassroots economy. I mean, we had even a twist of global leaders now saying that, the top bottom principle is not going to work. Now we need to use the bottom top approach. It means they're talking about the commons. I don't want to call names. You must have seen this tweet of world global leaders giving up the top bottom principle to say, yeah, we have to take the rich to, who are giving down to the bottom, to the commons. It will never work. It had worked before the pandemic, but now is the new decade, and this new decade is you as the top player, the African, decide what he wants for his people. And that's why we're saying our solutions on the Pan-African Daily TV are African-oriented solutions. The common solutions. How did we do it in the past? Why did we even forget these things? How did we forget our farms and think that we could work only in the offices? How did we forget, our gods, our traditions, our culture, and think that if we don't bow down to a Buddha, we're not going to go somewhere? How did we forget our spirituality? How did we even forget, how we look like? To call a brother a Caribbean, a Trinidad Tobago, a Mexican, a Haitian, a Brazilian, when they look like you and me, how did we forget? How did we forget that we are children of one, of one continent and a race? And then we begin to divide ourselves. Where was our memory? How did our mothers do it to raise children, 10 at a roll, with no child support, with no help coming from anywhere? I'm telling you, I'm a village girl. I grew up in the village. I never saw any United Nation come in the village and give us anything for my parents to support me, get education. But the 80% of the education I had was a household community education. And that is why in Africa we say, it takes a whole village to raise a child. Because we support ourselves. We don't rely on anything. We don't rely on any, who relies on who? So we want to go back into this knowledge of ourselves, like Professor Baina Bello is saying. If you have the knowledge of yourself, just knowing who you are, if you own your mind, you can be anywhere on the continent. You can be anywhere in Europe. You can be anywhere in the world. But if you just know where you come from and who you are and the power that you have, you can change. It is not about relocating. Going back home. Yes, we do appreciate we would have to go back home. Yeah, at some point in time. God was not stupid to give us that race that we all come from and call it our own. And so every geographical reason, we all know that globalization in the format that, it's coming will never function. So it is high time we stop it. High time we stop raising our hands. Please come and help us. Come and give us drinking water. You call it a united nation. No, it never has been united for the interests of Africa. That is what Africans are saying. That is is why we're here today. I mean, from his perspective, and I just miss the fact that, you know, we didn't get engaged longer into this conversation, because he was really coming up, you know, to tell us, and us also give him this feedback. He would have actually shared, and we would have learned from each other tonight. But unfortunately, as we can see, it was not favorable. Anyway, I would like us, there's been this video that we shared from the president of Rwanda. And, you know, during this very important speech that he was hosted, he made a lot of critical and pertinent points on this conversation. I'm just trying to look at that speech so we can share it. We draw another inspiration for those of you that did not watch it, those of you that are not subscribed to our daily channel, those of you that are not connected to follow up the latest posts. I will use this opportunity because the topic of today doesn't seem to, you know, catch up like what we had scheduled and had planned with that whole team. But we can do something useful for ourselves. Every time is a time for us to learn. And that's why I said the lines are open. You can call in, make your contribution, and let's continue the conversation. Yeah. So call in using the WhatsApp if you want to make a contribution on the past shows, not only on the topic of today. The topic of today has collapsed, as you can see, but we can move on to the next topic. And if it's not really something that we have to dwell too much on, then we'll make it a date and prepare for the show for tomorrow, because tomorrow we have a very important guest. Yeah. To me, I just sent you the link to upload. We have a very important guest tomorrow. And this guest is going to educate us about our family setups, why we actually need to educate ourselves, even in terms of our relationship. He's a very prominent figure, a brother that is also a host and a founder of a big network in South Africa. And all they do is exactly hold conversations like we do. And we've been following up his programs, and he's given very, very interesting information about why the situation among us Black people worldwide is not functional. We've been hearing the reasons why we don't function together, why we don't work together, why we don't collaborate together, why we don't progress together, why we don't buck at each other. And that has been really his focus, even though he talks about the brain of the young South African child that grew up in the era of the apartheid, and how dangerous it is for the future of Africa in general. And so we start seeing issues like the xenophobia coming up, you know, why they hate on the street, you know, a country that fought so much to be where it is today, and then just going back as if it's 20 years behind to start fighting each other, you know, who owns the land and stuff like that. It is damn crazy. So tomorrow we're going to have this guest here. I'm still looking for the confirmation in his contact, but he will be here tomorrow, and it will be a very heated debate, and not just like what we had anticipated. And like I said, on Friday, we're going to have Rutendo. Rutendo is going to be with us. On Saturday, we're also going to have a very important exclusive guest who wants to teach us about the formula of mathematics, that the African was the one that founded it, and what is it that we can use this kind of complex, you know, subjects, you know, and facilitate it. And so he could bring up a formula where it's so easy for our children to learn the science of calculation and mathematics. And he says, building Africa, we need to know the numbers, we need to know the figures, we need to know how to calculate to be able, you know, to even know, quantify our resources and our minerals and put some kind of a calculation on it. Yeah. And so it's very interesting to have this prominent guest. We've been waiting to host him on the Pan-African Daily for so long, and finally he's confirming to be with us on Saturday. It will be a pleasure to have you here. Good. So let us take a look at the speech of the President, His Excellency Paul Kagame, on this very important meeting. What is it that we can learn from it? What is it that he actually made as very useful points, particularly on this topic that we are on today? Let's take a look.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to thank Dr. Adesina and Dr. Ongbo for the invitation to join this conversation on the critical issues of food security. Africa's food situation is already fragile due to low productivity and trade barriers. Climate change is making the challenge even more difficult as rainfall patterns shift and the desertification worsens. And of course, the COVID-19 pandemic, an added burden that we are still confronting. However, solutions to these challenges are known and within our means. Transforming agriculture in Africa is an urgent task. No one can be satisfied with subsistence. Agribusiness can be a pathway to prosperity for African families. First, we need to improve our research capacity. Agriculture may be humanity's most ancient economic activity, but modern food production is based on science and technology. Just like the smartphones we all use, we need to strengthen partnerships to tap into successful innovations to produce more food at affordable prices and with less environmental impact. In Rwanda, we are investing in climate-smart technologies and collaborating closely with regional institutions, development partners, and the private sector. Second, we need to trade more with each other. The African Continental Free Trade Area widens the scope of opportunity for African business, agribusiness, to reach its full potential. For too long, our continent imported food that we are capable of producing ourselves, simply because of internal trade barriers, among other things. Third, we need to convince our youth that agribusiness is a good career. In Rwanda and elsewhere in Africa, we have been encouraged to see an increasing number of young graduates dedicating themselves to agriculture and making good money out of it. Sustaining this trend requires the support of leaders at all levels, as well as easy access to finance and insurance products. The agricultural economy will be the foundation of Africa's future prosperity for decades to come. But we must come together like we are doing at this high-level dialogue and give the sector the attention and investment it deserves. I'm therefore happy to endorse this meeting's communique. I thank you very much for your kind attention.
All right. We had this very noble speech from His Excellency Paul Kagame about the need for agriculture, and this is one of the biggest sectors that we actually engaging on. And I really had wished that His Royal Highness would be here, because these are the kind of information, particularly for local communities like that, to give them that orientation, to focus on the land and the potentials of the young people that they have. I don't know if he can connect. Is he connected? Hello? Lost with
Hello?
connection. All right. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Your Highness. I'm happy, but I'm happy you're back. Yeah. But your camera, I can't see you. You're just black on camera. Your camera is not connected.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Don't stress up, please. I know that the heat
Yeah.
you are all under.
Can you see me now?
A
Can you
little
see me
bit,
now?
a little bit. Yes, yes, yes. It's okay. Now it's okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for the support that you have behind there. I'm so sorry for that setback, but I know your community and the challenges that you're facing in. Now, one thing that we want to discuss with you very quickly. I mean, I'm happy that you already were saying no help our continent. That's actually what you came to tell the diaspora and Africans worldwide. Now, you talk about water. Now, do you look at the community and the source of getting water, like wells and this? What is the other option? What is the other option to getting water, clean water in the community?
Yes, there are many options. One, good borehole,
Yes.
which I've done some in some parts. I'll be able to put about 2 or 3 boreholes for some people.
Mhm.
Those who are less privileged, they can't get even some to drink. So I'm appealing. I know that UN cannot help us. Our other influential men, we have highly influential men, business oriented, men with caliber to come and help us. We the Africans. I'm not talking only Ghana, Africa generally. Because when you go to Congo, it's like West. I've been to Liberia, I've been to Guinea Conakry.
Mhm.
They don't have good drinking water. I can read, I go through one person commenting that why am I talking about water, water, water? Water is life. When you have life, you think about any other thing.
Mhm.
If you don't have life, you can't think about moving forward. Water is more essential to the body. That's why I concentrate on water.
Mhm.
Because with water, I can live without eating food. That's why I focus on water. Water is life. So I'm appealing to the NGO, non-governmental organization, the highly industrious. We have men who are capable, men who are men. Men, if they say that developing Africa today, they will develop Africa. Sorry to say this, we have men packing our money to Swiss bank. Those money dumping in Swiss bank. When they die, that money will not come back. Let them bring the money to Africa to develop Africa. Africa needs that money to be developed. Africa needs those monies they are dumping in Swiss bank. They need it in Africa to develop Africa. Put it in Africa bank. They will use the money to keep African citizens alone. The African citizens will use it to work and pay the loan, and the African country will develop. It's about time we stop this our selfish interest. The UN cannot help us, and they will never help us. Rather, they will be draining our resources because they see us as less privileged human beings. Let's wake up. Let's Africa wake up and stand on our feet. When it came to like the Igbo people I'm talking, we have capable men in the Igbo land. Even in Ghana, we have capable men in Ghana who can stand and help Africa. We have capable men in Egypt. We have capable men in Liberia, Sudan, even in Kenya. Let them come together. Sometimes I laugh. Every year we say we have business entrepreneurs doing seminar, organizing a meeting. What are they doing seminar for? What is the impact? What
Okay, I think I think that was the last stroke on the camel's back. It's not going to work tonight. And but of course we could feel a little bit of this passion of, the need for us to develop from this perspective. We would have to work harder. We would have to work harder on the mindset of ourselves and our people, particularly the locals. The locals. You can see these are the real type that if the Chinese would penetrate. The kings, particularly when they have titles. You have titles, it means you can negotiate. You can negotiate on the behalf of a whole community. And so, like Evidence was saying yesterday, if we don't even own our minds, how can we even negotiate? They're going to buy us if we sit and don't even see the powers that we have to say, you know what, we don't need them. They need us more. And so this mindset is the education that we're saying, the miseducation of the Negro, of the African, like our ancestors were saying. We're going to correct all this. Now we know exactly. Now, the real true African, like Evidence was saying yesterday, you have two types of Africans. You have the true African, and then you have the African that is partial. It means is this kind of African that all of us are watching here and saying, no, we're gonna do it by ourselves. By the time an African start thinking and saying, I don't rely on anything, I don't need any support, I don't need even your jobs. I have to create my job. I have to build my even from facilitate, build and develop ourselves. We do that. We would. I mean, don't ask me how. Just deny some of ourselves these things. If Africa would just wake up and tell all these kind of partners that are not helping them in anything, particularly if we can't even negotiate to win from our own point of view. So let's first of all wait until we even understand their language and their business ethics and their culture of negotiation. On there, let's focus on ourselves. Let's focus on ourselves and train ourselves not to be dependent. Let's just do a small test. I did it to myself, and I can guarantee you that I am independent and not even jobbing and work for my nation, work for these people. I think the moment we start refusing and looking up to this so-called, God give us. That's why the president of Ghana, we posted that video, who said it, have to look, even if we have to build partnership with the world, with the Western world, or these partnerships, if they are not on basis of trade and investment, they have to go beyond aid. They have to go beyond aid. They have to go beyond donor projects. And now you see Germany, you're going to hear Germany is the biggest donor to Africa. Yes, in terms of what? I mean, couldn't they have said it's the biggest investor? In what? So these are the kind of partnership, even want to partnerships. If they are not favorable, we will still be hosting their expert here. The Israel Highness was giving his perspective from local community and region in how they deal with even just common drinkable water, right? Taking that perspective. I know we're used to and experts and that, and so when he focused on water, like what is water? We need I can just go and get it for ourselves, and you're talking, right? Yeah, but it is still one of those projects. Believe me, it is still one of those projects. If you look at every royal community and villages, you would see something called how was it called? Calm water or something like that. I can remember that when I was in high school and they came and they dug all these projects. It was some kind of like a donor project from the Canadian. And believe me, all those projects died naturally. Even the need for the locals, to keep up with these projects and to continue it, they could not. And so all this, pipe water, borne disease, whatever, and that the locals just went back to their villages and to their local streams that they carried their water, and life went on as usual with no stress of coming to open a tap. Today is blocked, tomorrow not blocked. The engineers who put all that money in there and held, a community circle in the village with chiefs and royal highness like this, and they carried umbrellas and they were clapping with uniforms and like the United Nations has given us water. It didn't last for even a year. Yeah, and that project was dead. But you need to see how much money. And the locals would sit and start looking at such projects and like, oh, the gods of wherever came and gave us water. It never functioned, first because their methodology and that attitude of always thinking that they can bring projects, they can impose, to the African mind what they think is good for them. All of these projects have never worked. We worked on a project case study, how Germany invested billions in the Congo. I mean, investment for what? Build ports and build railways, and they put really this kind of infrastructures that you have here. Buses, and they have to be on time, and people had to come and wait at the bus stops and to for the drivers to come. You guess what? It was not 3 years. All the locals, because they're not used to this they're not clock-oriented people, just forgot about that. Nobody will wait at the bus stop in the Congo, in this community where they put this project as a study case. Nobody waited. And before it took how many years for Germany to realize that the money that we put there was just a waste, because we never asked the locals what do they need. We just thought we knew what was good for them. And that's how all these foreign development projects just take the models of the West and implant it in some local village and give some tips and honor and give some medals to these chiefs. And they begin to feel like the world is going to come to give them something. No, it cannot be the same. We can't leave our people in so much ignorance. And so every person that is watching us, whether it is from the community or the villages, we have to educate ourselves. We have to educate ourselves. We have to educate our community, starting from even those we think they're the leaders. It is a matter of education. And like we said, the mindset. What is it that you see? You can have that influential role sitting as a leader. But then if they don't even ask your opinion, and the West is so good at doing that. They're so good as just taking, samples and just implanting on the African continent and think that it will work. But because it has never been in the interest of the African. Or it can also be a goodwill project, but why do you want to do it in your own way? Right? So, but we are saying, imagine now when we tell them, bring those projects, we're going to do it in our own way. Do you think they're going to give it to you? No, because the West always likes to own that power. Even though I give it, so it's no partnership. There's no fairness in these partnerships. We have to build sustainable partnership, Africans for Africans. We have a lot of NGOs. We have a lot of organization, business experts, skills. We are not lacking in anything. We can network and use our own skills, because first, the one thing is we understand ourselves. We're not timekeepers. We tolerate that. We're loud. We tolerate that. We are not, I don't know, professional ethics. We're not that. So doing business among ourselves to develop our continent is the most easiest thing, because we understand our way of doing business. We know how we can negotiate our price. We know how we can say, oh, my brother, I give you for this. We know how we can set a price at 1,000. For those of you that have been on the continent, this is another. These are topics we're going to handle on the Pan-African Daily. The real day-to-day life of an African on the African continent, because these are some of the cultural shocks that our brothers and sisters on the diaspora, when they get home, they first of all get to that, like, what is going on here? And on the continent, you know how smart our street guys are. No, they're going to show you Pepe. They start by taxing something at 1,000 euros, for instance. And but the rules of the jungle rules and the rules on the continent, you can end up buying that for $100. But then because we come with our mindset from the continent, Western civilized people that don't argue price, we are ashamed to negotiate because we don't know how to negotiate from an African point of view, right? And later we'll be like, oh, they dupe me, they do this. No, you just did not follow the cultural negotiation techniques according to the African indigenous knowledge and cultural ethics and taboos, right? So it is much easier for us to teach our people from leadership, not teaching like anybody is an expert in something, but of course, why not? Most of us are experts. We know it. So those who know can easily share with those that don't know. So we're going to start from the community level, the village level, hold seminars with this Royal Highness who are actually looking forward to develop their communities. Now, can't you pick that up as an investment possibility? Now, you just heard the Royal Highness say he comes from a community in the central region of Ghana and they don't have drinkable water. And we hear all the time Africans in the diaspora, even on the continent, say, oh, we don't know where to invest. We don't know opportunities out there. That is a business opportunity, a big one. Providing drinkable water to the central region of Ghana and the community of the Igbos. Yeah, that's a project. And you know what? It doesn't even cost anything because you have the skills. We know how we recycle water. Where we're coming from, do they have water? The same water we use from the restrooms are the ones that will be recycled into the kitchen. From the kitchen is the ones who recycle. It's the whole one tap that connects the whole house. So where does one go to? That is the opportunities that we're talking on the continent. Our challenges, our problems, if we can identify them just by getting a guess, talking about something else, and you are smart as an African, as an industrious African, as a creative, innovative African, that is already a business plan for you. And it will not cost you $5,000 to start water processing. And now you go to Ghana, to Accra, to the cities in Lagos, or to Bamenda Market Square. You're going to see these guys, you know, with the waters in the plastic bag. Where did they get them from? Of course, you have the bottled water, which is the first class. But I think water is the most cheapest thing to commercialize and to do a whole business on it because people drink every day. You heard what he was saying. And now he was already saying, oh, there's a comment in the chat saying, why are you talking about water? And he said, because water is life. Sure. Now go to the supermarkets in your area and do a research on the types of drinkable water. You're gonna be you'll be left with nothing like, you know, even from the gourmet. I mean, in Germany they call it gourmet, like the high-end water. So it just has just a label. And they put some crazy stories like, oh, dream from the mountain of Kilimanjaro and all your problems will be okay when you just drink this glass of water. So we just need to package water from the central region of Ghana, and we put the Kilimanjaro, the fresh volcano, or the Mount Cameron, you know, the volcanic, because that's where the fresh water comes from. Bottle it, sell it even back to them. That is what freedom was saying. Freedom was just saying everything that we have, we're sitting on them. Now, are we going to be industrious? Use the technology of communication, of bottling and packaging and putting some stories, our visions, the Ubuntu, the love, the healing, the power, the magic, the black magic into it. Everybody's going to drink it, you know, and put that water is a healing. And we all are even healing ourselves from these powers coming up from our ancestors and the gods of the creation of the African race. That is a concept. That's a business concept. So please, I want us to sit up right and to use every opportunity that we have as Africans. And some of the guests, when they come, they're not going to provide solutions. But from the conversation, you could already see the challenge. And this challenge is only opening up an investment opportunity. How big do we want that? Okay. So if you want to get in contact with this chief from this community, please get in touch with me. You can be a multi-millionaire just selling water in the Western region. Now you already heard the challenges that he was talking about. Everywhere there are water that they can't even cook, and what an opportunity for an investor. right? Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Hey, Dr. Susan.
Yes.
It's been a long time I'm trying to reach you.
Okay, you're calling live on the show. Are you aware?
Sorry?
We're live on the Pan-African Daily. Are you calling to make a contribution or you just...
I'm calling to make my contribution.
Okay.
From you.
Go ahead.
From you.
Thank you very much. Go.
I very much like the discussion, but the fact of the matter is African leaders are so corrupt. They are now enslaving Africans, particularly the Ghanaian leader. Now he has destroyed all Ghanaian water bodies.
Oh.
But he came out to talk good, as if he's doing good. But now Ghanaian water bodies has been destroyed by the Chinese.
Okay.
Yeah. So to me, our problem is leadership. Africa is now facing leadership crisis. Not the people, not the masses. It's leadership.
Okay.
All right. That is my contribution.
Thank you so very much. I didn't even hear your name. I just heard that you're a Ghanaian calling from the United States. What is your name, sir? Kwesi. Right.
Yeah. What is the best time to reach you?
After the program, anytime we are open from Tuesdays to Saturdays, so you can text us. Yes. All right.
Okay, because I tried to call you right from yesterday. Up today, it was so difficult.
Okay.
For my call to get through.
I'm so sorry. The calls yesterday were so crazy about this conversation, and so sometimes it's difficult. Let's talk after the show, okay? And call in anytime that we're live.
Okay. After the show, what time?
Anytime after the show, please. Thank you. All right. Yeah. So you see, it is not about the leadership. It is also about the leadership. But what I learned yesterday, and I know that all of us learned it because that video is more than 30,000 that watched the conversation of yesterday only on Facebook. I'm not even talking about YouTube and the other platforms. Only on the Pan-African Daily TV Facebook, there were more than 30,000 that followed up that conversation. And a lot were saying, oh, I just learned something. I used to think that leadership is the main problem, but I just learned that even the leaders themselves have a state of mind. So all our problems should be going to the state of mind. And we've been having a lot of conversation in education why we are having that. Hello? Hello?
Hello, can I make a contribution?
Yes, my queen. I'm waiting. Go ahead.
Hi, I listen to you. I live in the UK. I'm 21-year-old.
Oh.
And I just wanted to say that like one of the uncle just called now. I believe our problem is due to unity. We don't have that unity among ourselves.
Correct.
We're very divided based on our tribes, based on where we come from in Africa. And we don't like ourselves sometimes. So, and the only way we can destroy that hate that we have among ourselves is to unite, because we cannot give the power to the white man all the time, and we cannot blame them that they are bad. And sometimes the problem is not on them. The problem is us as the Africans. So we need to change that before we have change, and before we have a bright Africa. So I just wanted to say that. And we also believe that a white Jesus from the sky will come and save us. And we always pray, which it will never help, because Africa has everything. And the only thing that we need to do is to start working among each other and believe in one another to make Africa bright. And I want to give, voices to other people also to comment. And that's the only thing I wanted to comment.
What is your name, my princess?
My name is Inesh. I'm a student. I'm doing nursing. And I just wanted to say, I always watch you. I don't like commenting, but I wanted to comment today.
Thank you so very much. We're going to connect with you after the show, okay?
Okay.
Thank you so very much. Thank you for your contribution. Yes. You see, I mean, what else when the next generation is already on spot? She's 21 years. To me, Tata, my first son is 21 years. And I can see the spirit of this generation that we're talking about. And, sometimes we misunderstand and we even underestimate the energy that we're putting out. The education, the cause, the contribution, the voices, like we say, the Pan-African Daily is the voices of the Africans worldwide. And every voice counts in the development of Africa. Doesn't matter. There is no stupid call that someone would make here. There is no nonsense call or approach or knowledge. If you can speak like an African with authority, with command, then you can fix Africa. That is the new Africa that we're talking about. It is our time to rise up and grow the seed. And now we see the seed given back to us, just calling us and giving us the solution. Sometimes we go to dig holes and bores to look for clean water, right? When we already have the water around us, all we need to do is just put that water into one basket and purify it and drink. Our disunity is one of the cankerworm. Leadership will not correct that. No leader would sit on the continent and tell us we have to unite. It is us to us, and it is upon us to do it. I'm so proud of you, my princess, and I will get back to you because the network of the 21s is currently being created for the African we want, and we really like your contributions and would love to sit this time and even just listen to the young generation. We talk too much. Hello?
Hello, Sissy, how are you?
Fine, thank you, brother. Welcome.
Thank you. I know it's been a long time, but yeah, we here. Just a quick one. I love what the young sister said earlier. But what I would like to contribute to the fact is that we do not have leaders. We only have misleaders. Because if we have a leader doesn't behave such a manner. Leaders don't behave this way. A leader is one who can stand on his own 2 feet. A leader is one who have listening ears. A leader is the one who can make a decision, and knowing that the decision he's doing or the decision that he's taking is for the betterness of himself and that of his people. But in this manner, we do not have a leader because all that they display does not show that they are leaders. So I don't want us to continue using the word leaders. We don't have leaders. We have misleaders. If you say what our misleaders are doing, then we can use misleaders, but not leaders.
Okay.
The other thing I may have to say also is that now it is extremely important that we observe our food that we are having back home, because it is a dangerous, really, honestly, dangerous situation we are now. I hope you know that some of the devils in the world have purchased acres of land, farming land. Why? who's going to eat those food? It's for us. So our food and our seeds and our water bodies, our land have to be our heartbeat and our everything, if you like. Because if we joke and our rainforest leaves our hand, if we joke and all our seed, like corn, like if you go to Ghana now, you see many of the corns are yellow corn and people are eating them. They have no recollection. They don't have any education. Nobody telling them that these yellow corns are no good. Where is our white corns we used to have it in the past? It's no more. Nobody telling them that the yellow corns are bad for their health. If you go to Ghana now, you see people go to market and buying the class C or class E frozen chicken that is extraordinary big, abnormally big, and they're happy, telling the butcher to cut for them, and see how our people become. Things that we don't eat here in the UK, things that we don't eat here in the diaspora, that is what they ship to Africa, and they are happy eating it. You dare go and tell them, my sister, my brother, don't eat this. They don't see and they don't side with you. They even become angry with you. We have our own people on the ground today as I speak that are promoting the GMO food. Now we have cocoa that is hybrid, GMO cocoa seed. We have hybrid coconuts that are GMO. Guess what? People are happy drinking that and paying more on that. Nobody telling them. This is why I said we do not have leaders. So honestly, my sister and those of our family that is listening, we are the one that have to put our foot down. We are the one that can educate those who will listen. We are the one that have to go down and put our foot on the grass, put our foot on the soil, and destroy those GMOs and burn them if we have to. Because when they put the GMs or the hybrid one, if they plant it around, obviously, I'm taking the words of our brother Tenaro from Zimbabwe. The brother said it all anyway. Because he know better.
Okay.
So I'll leave that question for him to say. But the bottom line is that we are at the verge of destroying ourselves through what we eat and what we drink. My sister is serious.
Yeah.
All African seed are going down, being replaced by GMO as we speak. But our people can see, and we try to tell them, they don't want to know.
Okay.
I rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your contribution. Yep, we have a lot to learn. We have a lot to do. We have a lot of work to do. And because we've been identifying a lot of these challenges, it is also time that do not think we only just take this or we only hold the conversation. We have a whole database that we're setting up and doing this research, all the challenges that we've been listing here, and the solutions, of course, to start producing the results. And you can see all these networks and groups that are coming up are also groups that are, coming up from the Pan-African Daily TV conversations. And even just things that you contribute and say here, the young people on the continent, them and put them into action. So keep talking, keep preaching, keep advising, keep commenting, keep sharing, keep subscribing. This is how we're going to change and build a new Africa. I thank all of you for your contribution. Thank you for your calls. I know some calls are coming in. Is it possible to pick all or answer all? Hello?
Hello.
Yes, good evening.
Yeah, good evening to you. My name is Moses.
Welcome.
I think there is a live session that is going on, and I wanted to know, do you have a platform where I can comment directly or something like that?
Okay, then I'll connect to you after the show because you're calling live on the program, okay?
Okay, sure. But is it possible for me to comment directly?
Yes, of course. You can comment. That's why you're calling. We are live on the show now.
Okay, basically for me, I'm like, I want to say to introduce myself. I'm 21 years old also, and I'm from Kenya, working different NGOs about solid waste management.
Okay.
And another thing I'd like to comment about leadership, um, I can say like you refuse to take their portion and to be who they want to be. You know, they are not taking their position in the society, not taking position in any part of the country or in building themselves. So we end up blaming others and expecting some expertise from outside to come and help us to solve our own problems.
Okay.
You know, so I would urge and ask my colleagues from Africa, also from Kenya to be speaking. Like, we should wake up and try to do something. Let us be the changes that you want to see. Let us be the leaders of tomorrow.
Absolute correct. Do you have an organization, or I didn't get what you said you were doing? You're 21. I heard that, and we've been having the 21s talking to us today. I want to list that down because I'll be connecting with you after the show on that. Anyway, are you from an organization, or what is it that you would like to take your generation to the next level with?
Okay. Basically, I do work with an NGO organization from the UK, based in Kenya. But I did.
Right. I think he's calling from Kenya, and the lines are not good. Right, from what I heard, I think you also heard the same. If I did not hear well, please drop a comment in the chat box to remind me of that. I heard he is working with an NGO from UK in Kenya. I hope I'm correct. If not, correct me, please. Yeah. All right, good. So the voices of the young people are talking about, and we're always going to focus on leader. But this young leader is saying, yeah, we complain, but sometimes we're not engaged. The young people are not willing to take that responsibility. So do we have a young, dormant, docile generation that is coming up without us being aware? Maybe sometimes we, the parents, and this generation are so focused on other things, right? On working, I mean, the stress, the responsibilities that we have in the families, and even out of the families to the communities, is huge on us, that we actually do not focus what kind of direction our children or the young generation, who is going to nurture them, who is guarding them, who is actually looking into their needs, who is looking to replace this leadership that we're talking about is all old, right? That is the more reason why we're calling on engaged Africans. Please just subscribe to our channel. If you are engaged and you want to change Africa, you have the spirit of the new Africa in you, join our campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers. The 1 million, we're not looking just subscribers to grow a YouTube channel. No, even before we get those subscribers, I guarantee you we're going to get our TV. Yeah, that is not the purpose. The purpose is we want to get a database of 1 million committed Africans that are looking, are hungry for the change. With this number, we can begin to implement all the solutions that we are listing in this challenge. So be our one in this 1 million. And I want to thank a lot. Just in the past weeks, we've had more than 300 that have subscribed. That is huge. Exactly. Imagine if we get 100 a day, just by you clicking or sharing the link and recommending a young person on the continent or in the diaspora to click. You must have just done your responsibility. You don't need to sit or build anything or do something. Just share the link. If you have a daughter or a girl in any community, whether in the diaspora, who is an African, please give them the chance. If you never had a passion to go to Africa, you just say, oh, that's not my thing. After I'm in the diaspora, I'm comfortable, I have my life here. Fine. We respect that opinion. Everyone is okay. You are still in Africa where you are, but please just give your neighbor or your partner or your community member or your children the possibility to decide for themselves. And the only way is to share our link and ask them to subscribe. That's all. We need to get a database of the ones that we want to work with, of the implementators. Most of us are the initiators, the consultants, like the visionaries. They give the vision, but they need the workers, right? Who are the young leaders that we want to train? It is difficult, even if we give seminars. If people are not passionate, like we say, and it's not their thing to lead, you can't force them. Leadership is not taught, it's not an institution. Has to be a calling, has to be a passion, has to be something that we are all engaged and ready to do. It has to be a commitment. You have to sit here every day and say, I want to change Africa. All of you that are connecting to the channels, whether you're watching from whichever platform, you are doing it because you have that fire for the new Africa. You are hungry for the change, but maybe because you're busy, you have different responsibilities, it's impossible for you to do the same thing. That's why working as an NGO or a nonprofit from the sector that we are coming from, or from the organization that we own, it is all a network for all NGOs. Because NGOs are people that are passionate to do it. They voluntarily say, I want to change the world. They voluntarily say, I want to change Africa. They're not busy about earning a living or living a kind of a jet set life. No, they are just focused. They have a dream. We are dreamers. We dream that we have to change that Africa, and we believe in that dream. But you can support the dream if you are not a dreamer by just giving us the chance. Just share our link, and we're going to get this 1 million, and we're going to build the Africa for these young people. Hello?
Hello, dear Queen. Thank you so much for what you do for us.
Thank you, my queen. How is Uganda?
Uganda is not so good. Yes, but I wanted, yesterday I listened to evidence gave us, not really teaching us how about immigration and migration. I'm so grateful to what you do for us, learning. We are just learning things that we probably but now talking about the situations, I had one of your guests, President Kagame, come on the show and talk about trading in Africa and amongst African people, which is the amount for our nations to grow. But the same person has crossed the border between Uganda and Rwanda. We have East African community passport, and we are not even allowed to go to Rwanda. I mean, the hypocrisy in these leaders is just too much for anybody to bear.
Absolutely.
They just come and speak few things that you don't even know whether the things they do, whether they care about people or not. Now, African people love each other. We love each other. Wherever we meet, we love every African person. I think we have problems with our politics in the countries that we come from. So these people confuse us and mix us, and then we don't connect between the people because they're telling us, oh, you are from here, you belong from the thing. And it's so bad, these leaders, you know. I'm glad the past commentator said that these are misleaders. These are not leaders. Leaders are all corrupt. We have to stop sugarcoating them.
Correct.
It's called a spade. They are not telling us. They're selling Africa to China, to Europe, to everybody who can buy it. We have had our children. Where are they going to go? You tell us to go back to our countries. We cannot go back to Uganda because everybody who goes to Uganda is against Museveni is going to end up in jail or is going to be killed. So which Africa do we want? Are we talking about? We have to get serious and talk about things which are really paining you. Africans, we in the diaspora have to come together and support each other. Stop this sugarcoating these leaders and bringing them and then they tell us this rubbish that they're trying. They said, I don't know who said this, but they said charity begins at home.
Correct.
So if you cannot trade with Uganda next door, which country are you going to trade with? Kagame grew up in Uganda. He had everything from Uganda. And now he's closed the border between Uganda and Rwanda. We are friends, we are families, we are one people. And then come and tell us this. Evidence told us we, the diaspora, have power. We have to wake up. We have to do something at the diaspora and speak with one voice. Support each other. Let's go back home to Africa. Africa belongs to all of us.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Queen.
Thank you so much.
All you do.
No, thank you. Thank you too. Thank you for your contribution. I mean, we're going to look into this subject matter that you're talking about to find out this. I mean, it's anyway. Thank you, my queen. Thank you so much. Yeah, that was a feedback, and as you can hear, we're talking about a borderless Africa, but then we still know that there are challenges at these borders, and yeah, we're listing everything, we're documenting everything. We are at the research center of documenting everything, and it's not just only documentation, but we also follow up the process to see what are the measures, what are the conditions, what is actually going on the ground, what is it that we need to know. Okay, if Rwanda would not open to Uganda, who else can open? What are the other solutions? What is it that we can do even in Uganda to guarantee some things that we don't even need to leave the country? So these are all questions that we look for solutions, that we are very, very thankful for any feedback or any contribution, how you think you can help. But one thing has to be clear, like Evidence said yesterday. Remember, it is just us giving the opportunity through our weaknesses, and they use it. So our weakness is their strength. Now, you look at how the presidents collaborate. There's so network. No one would go against the other. So it is very necessary for us to build that kind of a unity and a network. Look at their partners. Our foreign development partners are interwoven. They're so stuck in their network. They don't betray any other. No, they don't. So now you see the problem still lies. The leaders, they already have a solution for themselves. They know how they network. They know how they do their business with their foreign partners. They know how they don't care. Say so. We say they don't care about matters that are concerning our own. What are we doing from the bottom top? Isn't it also time that we also trust our own network and not betray ourselves? So now that we have alternatives, but right now we're not left with any alternatives. That's why we keep going and begging and complaining and talking and doing nothing. I'm so sorry. I don't want to be arrogant or rude, but it's not like we're not doing anything. But of course, still not enough. It's just still not enough. We have to build also that kind of a network that is so solid, and we're gonna be swearing on not betrayal. That's what they do. They meet in their meetings, whether you call them their Illuminati meetings or what kind of setup. We have to get our own Ubuntu network and meetings that we're gonna swear on the love to protect one another and never to betray any other person, right? So now we have an alternative. And then we start building that leaders that we're talking about. And these leaders are not going to go by nomination. We're not political leaders. We are volunteers to change, bring it what we can from our own decision and our means. We're not begging anybody to fund us. We're not taking any funding. We're only recruiting and supporting among ourselves, because that's the network of Ubuntu. Without you, I am not. Right? So if you are in the wrong platform right here on the Pan-African Daily, please give road to those that are willing to. When we show some of these speeches, these leaders, and so now we get a feel, now we're getting a feedback. Now, some of us don't even know them. We don't know our leaders. Our leaders also don't know us. And this gap between us is always giving this room for whoever would want to divide us. Some people are owing that thesis. And I also agree, even before our colonizers came to us, we were not united. I don't know it, but we're still trying to work on that. We never were united. If we were united, nobody would penetrate us. And you see, this is the evidence today. If we were united, we would have been reunited after they left. So the fact that we were not it still continues. It means the inability, because if you did something and they came and they forcefully did, now they are not forcing you anymore. Why can't you just go back to the way you were? Question, very important. We never were, or were we? What kind of guns did they use today? Now we are even the ones facilitating the disunity. So we have to change. I want to thank you. It is time up on the Pan-African Daily TV. Like I said, we are looking for engaged Africans, the ones that want to build that new Africa. 1 million would do us good to start implementing all the solutions to our challenges. Before I conclude and I leave, like I'm leaving now to see you tomorrow, God willing, is we have heard the one biggest problem, the challenge of leadership. So now we know in our own context, we don't have a leader, right? Now, so but what are you going to do about that? Because that's a challenge out there. And we're looking for solutions. Where are your own leaders? Who are the leaders? Where are the leaders? Where are they? That is the question. That's the solution that we need to put on the table. Now we already know we don't have. We already know they're misleaders. We already know they're not reliable. We already know they're not accountable. We already know they're corrupt. Whatever things we haven't heard or we haven't discussed yet. But what are we doing now? That is the way forward. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And I thank you for being our honorable guest. And I see the many, many comments. Thank you all for contributing tonight. I see the super chat is really flowing, with some cash coming in to support our work. We are really thankful and we're grateful. And be aware, it is about that. It's that spirit. Yeah. You will never hear us put a funding project for whoever to fund us. No, we are able, we are capable, and we have more than enough to share among ourselves. So I want to thank you for that spirit. Keep it burning. That is the solution that we need, and we must, and we will, I guarantee you, change this Africa. It only takes us. It never takes the whole world. So thank you. We see ourselves tomorrow, same time, with this awesome and powerful guest. Bye-bye. Good night.
You are watching the Pan-African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tata. The Africa we want. Unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherland's calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers on the Pan-African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa.